How do we start or get the ball rolling? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom or expression today is to get the ball rolling. Now, this is an idiom and expression I have used oh so frequently in my personal life as well as in my business life. And we're going to find out tomorrow. I'm going to share 15 phrases that you should use or start using to sound more professional. So that's just a little sneak peek at tomorrow. And actually, one of them is to get the ball rolling, which is what led me to the discovery of the 15 phrases. They're not secret phrases, and I've probably used most of them, so we'll talk about those tomorrow. But today, let's talk about where did the idiom, the expression, get the ball rolling, and I lost my smiley face balls now, come from. It comes from, of course, sports that balls are important in. Originally, they believe it came from the game of croquet, which was introduced in England in about the 1850s, but it actually is similar to a game that existed in France called pall mall from the 1600s. So it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and to start the game, somebody uses their little mallet and gets the ball rolling. I grew up playing croquet with my sisters. We grew up on a little hobby farm in Wisconsin where we had lots of grass, lots of lawn, lots of space, and so whenever we were bored, which, you know, when you're kids back in the 60s and 70s, you didn't really get to be bored. You just had to go find things to do. My parents would send us outside to play, and we'd play croquet. Since there were 4 of us, we always had enough people to play croquet. And it's a game where you get started. Somebody gets started, and then you want to get the ball rolling, get the game moving along, and make sure that as you're going, you don't get flagged, or that you don't something doesn't stop your game, or you don't have to go back or whatever. There's so many different rules in different games, in different sports, that the games, just like our businesses, are always different. So how do you get the ball rolling? How do you get the conversation started? How do you get a project started in your business? How do you get your business started if you're just starting out? And I have 3 favorite ways. 3 ways that I like to get the ball rolling, get something started, get a project going, get a conversation going, getting a discussion going, getting a team meeting going, whatever it is that you're trying to begin. I have 3 ways that I like to do that. Number 1, if it's a meeting or a discussion, I like to ask questions. I like to ask questions of the attendees or the other person I'm talking to find out what's important to them, to find out what's up with them, and to build rapport and trust, and to just get things rolling. Once we start having a conversation with someone, it's pretty easy to keep it going. Usually the hardest thing for most of us is to just initiate that conversation, initiate that meeting, initiate that feedback session, initiate that audit, initiate or start or do anything. I often say the hardest thing I think most people have to do every single day is physically get out of bed. And I say that because we're going from a stopped position, a static, sleeping, comfortable, cozy state, to an energized, upright, moving state. The hardest thing to do is to get an object that's not in motion into motion. So one of the ways I like to do that is by asking questions. The second way I like to do that is by setting the example, leading the example, being the example. I expect people to behave in a certain way, but I set the example in that I behave that way as well. I don't expect other people to do things that I'm not willing to do, and I would never ask them to. I learned that when I was a kid, number 1, but number 2, in corporate America, that if you are asking people to do something, you need to be willing to do it yourself. And you show and prove that you're willing to do it yourself by actually doing it or demonstrating how it needs to be done. So lead by example. Ask questions, lead by example. And finally, my 3rd way to get the ball rolling, to get things started, to initiate anything, is to take some form of action. You know, we don't get the ball rolling on a project for our business to supersize and grow it if we don't, number 1, discuss or decide or even schedule the meeting or investigate the thing that we want to do to see if it's even feasible. And those are all forms of taking action. We take action. We actually do something to move us in the direction that we want to go. So my 3 favorite ways to get the ball rolling are to ask questions, lead by example, and to take action, to take steps toward what I want. And when we do that, it does several things. By taking action, we're setting the example for other people in terms of what we expect in our organization. And pretty soon the ball's rolling and we've got momentum and we're achieving our goals and objectives right and left, and everybody's happy because everybody wins. So that's our idiom or expression today. I would love to know your experience with this particular idiom. Have you ever said, have you ever heard, hey, get the ball rolling, get moving, get your rear in gear. You know, I definitely have said get your rear in gear, mostly to my kids and my relatives, not to people in work, but I've probably said it to my team members at work before too. So, love this idiom, love this expression. Some people might think it's overused, but what idioms and what expressions aren't? Things seem to come in fashion and out of fashion, in fashion and out of fashion. And with social media, they seem to change so quickly that what we hear today may or may not be popular tomorrow. But it's important that we know what things mean and what they mean to us in our business and what they might mean to the people that we interact with in order to grow our business. Have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, if there's an idiom or an expression you would like to know about, ask me in the comments below or direct message me. And I will be with you tomorrow, as I promised, with the 15 phrases you should use to sound more professional. Have an amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.